Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Travis, and today we're going to continue working on the 1950s REO Big Rig 650 horsepower Cummins build, trying to get this thing ready for duct tape drags. I've been acquiring parts for it for the last week or so that we can keep on keeping on. And I got a bunch of stuff in here, so I'll get some of this out and I'll show you what we're going to be doing this week. So here's some of the things I got. A lot of people were wondering, if you put the radiator there, how are you going to cool the water? Well, a 16-inch fan from Summit should do the job. I also got a 185-200 relay kit, so the fan will kick on at 200, kick off at 185. Hopefully that's enough airflow, plus whatever's coming in through under here and around the cab to push the air out. So that should solve our cooling issue. I got a couple of seats. These are from Facebook Marketplace. I got these for $100. They're made to accept the 5-point harness. I did buy 2 seat belts from Summit Racing, so you'll have 2 straps that go through there. You'll have one that come through each of those holes and then one to go through the middle there. So I've never bought seat belts like these, but I didn't know that these are like dated and, you know, you can't, they only work for a year or 2 or something like that. I don't know how particular the duct tape drags is going to be, but I mean, I need seat belts regardless, so we have to figure out a way to mount these seats and put these seat belts in. I'm thinking that we can use this structure right here to mount the seat belts, so we won't have to put in like bars and weld in stuff and cut through the cab or anything. I mean, this is pretty stout. This is pretty structural. The next thing I got was an intercooler. That was a big point of contention in the last episode because I wasn't for sure where to put the intercooler, because running 3-inch piping from here to the front would be a nightmare, but I also don't have a lot of room in front of the engine. But I measured some stuff out and I figured out that I think this intercooler is going to fit, even though it's not as big as the factory. This intercooler is better than no intercooler. And last but not least, an official bona fide B&M shifter. So this is going to control our automatic transmission, but because we made it a full manual valve body, we can't shift it like regular, you know, it's a race truck. So I guess we could do any one of these things first because it all needs to be done, but I'm telling you right now, I would really like to have some seats in this thing because I'm sick of wallering around in this metal hole. So for the seats, I obviously cannot bolt them straight to the floor because, I mean, I'd be sitting down in the basement. The way these are designed, this folds up and you got 1, 2, 3, 4 holes you can mount it to, some kind of a bracket. And I do have something that may work. I have no idea. We're gonna have to go look. So up and around the bend in my backyard, in the yonder off regions of the kingdom, I have this cab from the 2nd gen Cummins that the engine is from right now. And these are the seats, which are totally unusable, but the brackets, however, could be usable. So I'm wondering what would happen if I take these seats apart, take these out, and just see if those brackets fit in there, how well they fit, if it's going to be a total no-go. May have to run up to the Junkyard and look at their cars. They got a junkyard here in town with a bunch of 90s and early 2000s cars, and they have seat brackets and stuff. That's what we did with the 46 International truck that we did a bunch of videos on a couple of years ago. We needed a seat, we didn't have a seat, and we went up to the U-Pull-It yard and there was a bench seat out of a minivan. So we got the seat and that bracket that holds it to the floor, and it fit in the truck perfectly. It's still in there to this day, so we'll see if these work. Set my tools up here. So I have both sets of the seat mounts here in the cab, and I'm not sure these are going to work because those two are the same height, but these two are lower than those, and because of the way the floor is designed in the second gen, this isn't the same height as that. 10.5 inches. If you look at this one, you got 9.5, so this isn't the same height as the driver's side, and then this other passenger side one, 8 inches. So we're here at the You Pull It yard. This is a junkyard with pretty much a bunch of 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s stuff. It's not like a 30s, 40s, 50s junkyard like Desert Valley is up in Casa Grande, which I do go to sometimes. Whoa, I do spot an old car down here. It's kind of odd for this junkyard. What is this thing? You recognize what that is?
Mercedes.
Oh, it's a Mercedes. Gutted. Got an old El Camino over here. Also gutted. Need something with like 2 identical bucket seats in it. This one's been gutted. They even took the carpet. Golly. Pine cone. Where did that come from? We don't have pine cones right here.
All right.
See, this isn't bad. Same height, you know, simple, sitting on a flat floor. Heck, if I pulled these out, I could just use the entire dang seat. Like, why would I even switch everything, like put those other seats on? I just use the whole, I mean, these are nice enough. They're not even a tear in them. Here's my idea. I mean, these seats are nice. These aren't even tore up. Why don't I just take the 4 bolts out and put the whole seat in there? Like, why use those racing seats? If I put the whole mechanism in there, I could have back and forth, up and down, and just put the 4 bolts, put them in the cab, and be done. Look, I got armrests and everything. And then that's it.
I couldn't figure out why you didn't do it that way in the first place.
Yeah, all right. All right. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm just going to get those. I'm going to ask him what he wants for these.
Look at this. They got so much intelligent stuff nowadays. Look at this.
That's cute.
Isn't that cool? I mean, some of the stuff they come up with, man. You just don't even think about it. I've never seen that on any of my vehicles, or I haven't. Obviously, I drive old cars, but that's pretty intelligent. Looks like it'd be handy for something. Look at it, and look at the way. I like that.
I like it.
I do. I mean, it works. That's got some intelligence going on there.
This is our guy. Plug number 1. Plug 2. And this thing right here. Dad's pulling out the rear nuts. Is your finger in it?
I don't think so.
Make sure your finger ain't in it.
You better hurry up before this thing overheats.
Finger in it? Make sure your finger ain't in it.
Yeah, it's not.
It's professional production.
Yeah, I get it.
These are nice seats.
Yeah, they're pretty clean. They look flat too.
Yeah, I like it. They sit up high.
They mount flat.
Huh?
They mount flat.
Yeah, they mount flat and they sit up high because the cab is, you know, floor is really low. That seat has to be up quite a bit for you to sit correctly in the cab. I think these will do pretty good. And like I said, we'll have our functions back and forth, little tilt. I mean, this is the answer. This is genius right here. And they're all upholstered nice.
And on top of that, look at this cool. It's got that cool cup holder.
Can you take it off?
Well, it needs
Is it part
to have.
of the seat?
It needs to have a star. Yeah. Does your toolbox have the star socket?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's just see how it comes off. Plastic mechanism.
They look like they unscrew.
I don't know. I was pulling on that other side a little bit, and it.
Oh, here.
Or is it just got a couple little clips that.
There. What do you think of that?
That thing's cool. Look at that. And then look at, that's just for bumpy roads. Look.
Got a little shock absorber in there.
Yeah, it's got a little shock absorber in it.
That's cool. That's handy.
That thing looks handy as an extra pocket on a shirt.
Alright, we're good. Alright, so let's take all this garbage out of here.
Yeah, perfect.
How's
Yeah,
it sit?
it's exact. It's actually exactly where you need to be.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. Got a little bit. Yeah. Look at that. Got your pedal, your brake.
Seat height is perfect.
Yeah. Drill 4 holes, bolt them in. You got seats. That's it. That's the answer. I like it.
I wouldn't do it. I'd put them other ones in here at any cost.
Nah, he's just joking because whatever I had going on there was dumb. That was a dumb idea. Okay. This is a much more efficient. I mean, you're using all the technology of the original seat. You know, all you gotta do is drill a couple holes in the floor and you got it. Yeah, this is a way better idea. I don't know what I was thinking. What I'll do now is mark the holes and then drill them, and then we'll nut and bolt them. We'll have some seats. Whoa. Oh, my bad. Got all 8 holes drilled to put the seats in, and now before we actually set them in, I have access to these, and I'm going to put seat belts in. I got these 5-point harnesses from Summit. They're like, I don't know, $100 each, and we're going to drill holes in here and put nuts and bolts and put them in. forward. This centerpiece is a little bit low. That shouldn't it be like right up here by your chest? But I don't think I have much more adjustment in it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's gonna be cool. All right, it's the next day now, and I'm pretty happy with what we got done yesterday. Got both of the seats installed, bolted down, got both 5-point harnesses bolted into the structure of the cab. They're tight, and I'm happy with that. The next thing I would like to work on, which is pretty cool, I've been waiting to do this because it's just so fancy, is I want to put this shifter in, okay? So, this thing is super fancy, super cool. I splurged on this. I never buy like expensive things. I really try to avoid it. But for what we're doing, I wanted something that was going to work and perform, and for that I got B&M. This is not sponsored, but man, this just makes me feel cool grabbing this. This is so cool. Now, admittedly, I'm kind of dumb when it comes to racing stuff. I've never put a performance part on anything before this. And when I built the transmission last November or whatever, I got all the parts from Power Driven Diesel. Okay, I got their 650 horsepower kit, all right? I did all the clutches. It's got upgraded clutches, extra clutches, upgraded bands, upgraded servos, billet levers, triple disc lockup, torque converter, upgraded flywheel, billet input shafts. I mean the works. I did everything. Well, one other thing I did that I didn't even know I was doing, one thing I did was I put a full manual valve body kit in the thing. And I'm thinking, cool, like full manual valve body, that's cool. I can shift into the gear I want, but I'll still have like drive, right? Like if I shift it into D, I'll have 1, 2, and 3, you know? It literally, I got the transmission done and in there, it's been in there for like 6, 7 months. And only recently did I figure out what a full manual valve body actually meant. I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. I followed the directions to a T, but I didn't even know what I was doing. Full manual valve body means I turned the automatic into a literal manual. So when you shift it into what would be drive, that's third gear. That's all, it's just third gear. If you shift down to second, you're in second. You know, typically if you shift into second on an automatic, it goes 1, 2, and it won't go above that. You know what I'm saying? But it's literally a manual now. So now I get what I was doing. I'll admit that's a very amateur move to be admitting that, but whatever. So a couple of cool things about this transmission that I built is that I can shift into the gears obviously whenever I want. I modified the valve body to where I can shift into lockup in second, third, or fourth, which is probably the coolest feature in my opinion about the entire transmission. So typically how these 47 RHs and REs work in the second gen Dodge Cummins is you only get lockup in overdrive. At about 50 miles an hour, it will lock up the torque converter. I could start off in first, I could hit second, I could now lock up the torque converter in second gear. I could do a lockup shift into third, top out in third, and then hit overdrive. And then this stuff in here is the brackets they give you to do that. I've separated the brackets. I read the instructions. Yes, I did. I want credit for that. Thank you. Some of these are for a 4L60E, 4L80. I think there's a bracket in here for a C6. And then these are the brackets for a Chrysler transmission. So I've separated them. This is going to be our new shifter arm that's going to go directly on the transmission. This is going to bolt onto the pan. So we'll see how all this shakes out. So let's get under the transmission and put this bracket on and put this on. I can hear the cat crying. He wants to go in and out, right buddy? We've just recently made this cat an inside cat per my request. Because I said, he likes outside. He wants to go outside. Let him outside. So he's been enjoying his time outside. You still beg to go inside. You want to be an outside cat, but you like air conditioning. Look at that. No hesitation. I got the tractor out and pulled this thing out. We're going to pressure wash the side of this transmission real quick because we're going to be wallering all over this right here. looking a little bit better. So first thing we got to do is take this off and this off. This is our shifter linkage, and they gave us a new one of these. And as you do the throttle, I'm doing the pedal right now, it pulls that TV rod back, and it adjusts the pressure on the valve body and all that fancy stuff. So we'll just lay that down to the side. It's got a little sort of keyway ground in there, so you can only put it on one way. There's really not much adjustment. Take this thing off, this little washer, and then let's see, here's another bolt to pinch this. Okay. Alright, so the new shifter, I don't know, linkage connector arm, whatever goes on there.
Well, it sure makes it easier to work on when you ain't got no floor in, huh?
Yeah, it does. Alright, so let me make sure this is all the way down on. Oh, there. Okay, it wasn't all the way down on there. Tighten it up a little bit. Alright. Our C-clip.
I've been thinking about that since last night, thinking of an idea.
Alright, well, in order to mount this bracket, they say you got to take these two bolts off, and then the bracket goes right here, but I'm already starting to worry about how that bracket is going to fit in the middle of all these tranny cooler lines. I'm very curious to see what their solution is to that, or if it's just going to weave its way magically through these metal lines, which I doubt. I was able to get the bracket on this tranny cooler line. I had to just eke it over it a little bit with a pry bar, just enough, because it just did not want to fit. Couldn't get the bolt in, so the bolts go in smooth now. Haven't tightened them up, but I'm curious about, it's going to be tight whether this, see that hole, that's where the line goes through, but that's also where this tranny cooler line is. So I don't know if it's going to miss it or what. I don't know how. They assumed that this was all open. Alright, so we ran into our first problem with this bracket, which I knew this was going to happen. So this doesn't want to fit because it's going directly onto this tranny cooler line. It's got a hook to the shifter here. So it's bending this up is the problem, and it needs to be straight. It can't be bent like this, and it's not reaching correctly. So actually this needs to be sort of above and over to reach that straight on. Can't have bends and kinks. So we got Jerry over here again helping us, and he made a stack. Look at that. So that's roundabouts where the stack's going to go. The exhaust is going to come out somewhere in here, and then we're going to use this bracket. We're going to take this bracket and put it down here, so we'll have two, and then we'll mount it. And Jerry made these for us. Check that out. That's beefy right there. So we'll be able to clamp this to this, or here. We'll probably cut this tab off and make it to where it's flat, and we'll mount that hog ring like so. So we'll have it, and then we'll be able to tee off and go up to the truck. That's cool. So what Jerry suggested about the shifter linkage, which is pretty good, is we're going to take this shifter linkage, which was originally on the Dodge, and we're going to cut this tab off, and we're going to bolt this tab to the bracket, drill another hole in it to mount the shifter linkage. You'll see how it shakes out, but we kind of have an idea of what we're doing. You want in or what? That was fast. See, like that right there is real nice.
Mm-hmm.
Pull this all the way.
That's not in a bind.
I think that's about good right there.
Okay.
Here, you want me to mark it?
Mark that, the oval, mark the whole thing.
Okay. There's the oval.
You can do one of two things. You can drill one big hole in the middle, or you can drill a small hole at each end of the oval. That'll make it so it won't swivel anymore.
I think I'll drill one and tighten it up real good.
And then you can swivel it, and
Yeah.
then once it's where you want it, all you got to do is go into there with a MIG and zap those two tabs together, and then it won't swivel anymore. Just put a little bzz just to keep it from.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. It's a good idea. I like that. I like how that's going.
So you want to drill a hole probably right in the middle of that so that it swivels the same, not high or low, because then that'll change the distance. Play in that other hole.
Whoa.
I think you found a new friend, huh?
What?
A drill press.
Yeah. Jerry's been on Dad and me because we don't use a drill press. So he's happy we got one. There you go. So then, actually, I put this on a little bit prematurely. This actually screws on here. Oh, what? Hey. Whoa. So there's that.
There you go. That's doing something. A little more. There you go. That's it right there, bro. I think you're there. That's all the way back. Oh yeah, it's perfect.
Perfect.
Looks real good. Why don't we cut a piece of this to fit down in there? You can build the whole thing up above ground. 12 inches high, and you could build this whole
The whole triangle?
triangle and set it in there. And you could bolt it
Like you could
Or
put
you could-
bolts through the bottom?
through the bottom web. Just build up, let it cantilever out, build it a foot tall, set it in there and drill some holes up through the bottom and put some bolts in there.
It's not a bad idea.
The only thing you still got to do though is figure out if that cable's going to reach.
That cable's a little iffy on length.
Yeah, I know you can get different ones, but I don't think you want to spend 80 or 100 bucks on another cable.
Well, no, especially when they made this for the 7, and this is supposed to go in a truck. I mean, a truck ain't no shallow. It's not any shorter
But
than
look
this.
at how high you're bringing it. A truck.
Okay, so what we're doing right now is we're trying to make the bracket that's going to hold the shifter itself. This is going to be towards the back of the cab. It's going to come up. Gonna make it a nice little triangle so it's stiff, and then we're probably gonna mount the shifter here. But we're gonna have, so you don't want the shifter slanted down, so we're gonna have to make a plate, 2 plates here and here to make the shifter level. This is gonna be the structure to hold it, because you're gonna be really wrenching on that thing, and we want it to be sturdy.
Need to fluff all of that with a wire brush.
What, all of this?
Everywhere we're gonna weld it.
I got a flap disc.
Yeah.
Okay. I got this one. It's pretty used. I mean,
That's good.
Work. Okay.
Perfect.
Got a couple of new ones too.
My brother gathers them up about like this from work, because the guys, the welders, they get them free. And they throw them away. This, and even better than this. And I can get another...
You can get a lot more life out of them.
Another 100 grinds out of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to tack that and then set that on and tack that.
I got this thing set on 3/16. That's too much. 1/8.
Yeah.
1/8 inch is probably it. You want a helmet?
Yeah. A lot of guys will tack without it, but the UV rays are going to smoke your skin. It's not good to not cover yourself. Set that in there and see how it... See, I'm thinking we need to put a couple little pads on the sides and bolt it.
And
even
then,
if we just use a piece of flat material.
Well, can we use that, or?
Yeah, if you want to cut, well, it's kind of... But you'd have to cut strips. If I can read... Because you can push on it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's transfer those marks to the other side and you can use a cutoff. I don't know if anybody's ever told you, but if you cut a piece of angle iron, you don't want to cut it like this. Because then when it gets to the flat spot, it just goes brrrr. If you cut it like this, it's always cutting an edge and it'll rip right through it. So when you cut angle, cut it just like that.
Cut it on the chop saw?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can rip them in about 5 seconds. We did them all on the same side. They're gonna be...
I see what you're saying. Nice.
Let's see how it fits, if it fits. My wings are a little bit wide. Like an inch wide. There you go. Okay, so the front's too wide. Guess I should have measured that. I thought I had a lot of room.
So what? These wings got to be cut. The back will fit, but the front won't.
We can twist and get the back ones in. The front ones need to be.
I see. So it won't fit between the seats. We got to cut off more.
Cut off and re-drill those holes.
All right. All right, so we shaved down the wings and re-drilled the holes. Now it sits in there nice. Now I can mark out the holes on the floor, drill the holes in the floor. We can weld this together more permanently, and then we can figure out where we want the shifter exactly on this stick. Yeah, it's gonna be nice and tough and sturdy. Thing's set on auto feed. You good with that?
Yeah, it's working on it.
Okay. So Jerry got all of this welded together. All the tabs and the wings and the triangle shape is all welded together. We made a bracket from some diamond plate that I had, cut it out, bent it at some 90s, drilled holes in it to match the bolt pattern of the shifter, and now I'm going to go ahead and weld it here, weld it, and then we can bolt the shifter on.
Your hand. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hold on, I can't.
Battery go dead?
No, I gotta get a wobbly. Ready?
Yeah.
Alright.
Dude.
Is that solid?
That thing is so solid, you can't even believe it.
Now that's a shifter mount right there.
That thing is bad.
Yeah,
Bad to the bone.
nothing's gonna happen to that thing. Man, there's no giving that. Not even a shake or nothing. That's tough. Alright, so we have the shifter rod linkage hooked from the shifter, going through the firewall, going all the way down to the shifter arm on the transmission. We should be able to operate this, should be able to get our gears. So this is first, second, third, neutral, reverse, and park. Let me see if the drive shaft is spinning. That's park. It works. That's
yeah,
awesome.
buddy. Goal setters, bro.
That's really good. Reverse, park. That's awesome. So this should be first, second, third, neutral, reverse lockout, reverse, and park. It's the next day now. I really appreciate Jerry's help. Make sure you thank Jerry in the comments for helping making that bracket, for helping make this stack. He just came over yesterday unannounced. You know, that's a good friend, man. I just said, hey, I'm working on it this week, and he just boom showed up yesterday and just helped hammer it out, man. And I'm glad he did, because, you know, maybe I could have eventually figured out a bracket like that for the shifter, but it's going to take me 10 times as long as he did. He thinks this way. He does this. He customizes. That's what he does all the time. What we're doing today is intercooler. So I mentioned earlier, you know, that I got an intercooler in the beginning of the video. And if you watched the last video, you know I said I wasn't going to run an intercooler. So what happened? I don't have any space, and I'm sort of limited on time getting this thing ready for the duct tape drag. But I thought about it more, and I know that diesels need intercoolers to avoid heat soak. So I'm like, you know what? I really need to do the right thing. I need to put an intercooler on it. Even if it's not the same size as the original one or whatever, I need something. So I made some measurements up here, and I'm like, you know what? I can put an intercooler up here. A small one, but I can do it. So I got this off eBay. It's like an $80 special. I ordered a couple of boots online, and I think that we can make this work. And so I looked into the air-to-water intercoolers, and yes, they are a little bit more compact, but it's a give and a take. An air-to-water intercooler means that instead of the air passing through just an air radiator, the air actually passes through an encased thing with water in it, and you can make those much smaller. You still eventually have to pass that heat to the air. So what they add is a little water pump and an external radiator that the water passes through. You're not getting around the fact that you have to pass the heat to the air, but by having a water to air, you just are adding extra moving parts. I don't want to have to wire up a small electric 12-volt motor to cycle the water and put a small intercooler box plus a radiator somewhere. You're talking heater hoses and all this other stuff. An intercooler like this is very efficient. They're very efficient, and there's no moving parts. Once you mount it and hook it up, there's no moving parts, there's no water, there's no cycling, there's no 12-volt this, there's no heater hose that. It's just pipe, pipe, pipe. That's it. When the hood shuts, this bar right here is covered with the hood. We're going to have to make a bracket that comes out right here, and we're going to have to mount the intercooler literally right here. It has to be in front of this and not hit the engine. And I did measurements, and it said it was going to work. And if you set this bad boy right here, it doesn't hit the engine, although you got about ½ an inch until it does. So I got this 3x3 angle iron. We'll put right here. I would weld it, but this is actually aluminum. I don't know why they did that. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to cut this piece to length, drill a couple of holes right here, drill some in here, bolt it there, and then drill some holes in here that match the intercooler and bolt it to the plate. We're going to have to turn the housing of this turbo up this way to get it to fit how we want. Before I try and mount this, I want to see how close we are. From underneath you can see I have the intercooler mounted. I got these 2 bolts going through the structure. Then these 3 bolts are going through the studs that are provided on the intercooler. And I'm trying to mock it up, and this looks good. I had to turn this back down, and I was able to use the 2 of the 90s I got to make this work. That's actually the original intercooler pipe from the 2nd gen. And this is a little bit of a stretch, but I could probably make it work. But there is a problem. The hood hinge is hitting the piping really hard. Can't even shut the hood. So honestly, I have no idea how I'm gonna mount this up. I'll have to get back with you when I find a solution. I don't know, maybe I have to turn it upside down. Something, I don't know yet. So I switched some things around, and I'm not saying I have it yet, but I'm saying I have a different idea that may lead somewhere. So I put it down here, okay? So I tilted it down, have the pipe coming through here, have it 90 to here, and I know that we're hitting the air conditioner, but I'm actually gonna take the air conditioner out. I already planned for this because I'm not using AC, it's just added weight, and I got a non-AC belt to put on it. So this compressor is gonna come off. So I'll have some room here for this 90, and then we'll have the the intercooler going right here, and then I have my 90, and then I have my 45. All right, guys, what's the next day? And I've been thinking through the process of this intercooler, and I think I have a solution finally. It's not 100% done yet, but I think I'm about there. So, turn the housing back down, put this, not quite a 90, but almost. I have all this loosely fit, but it's ready to be tightened. So we have this, we have a factory second gen boot. Unbelievably, the factory second gen pipe fits perfectly. The bend is just right. To get on this 90-degree boot, to go to the intercooler, I did mount it from the bottom. Now, the only thing I haven't been able to finish yet is this section right here. So I can't turn this pipe up and just run it straight from here to here, which is how it would have been on the factory second gen. They just had like a straight boot and a straight boot or whatever. But that's not gonna work because you're gonna hit this and you're gonna hit the hood when it closes. So I had to move the power steering lines this way. I had to bend them a little bit to get them out of the way. So we'll have to have a 6 3/4 inch pipe here, a 90, and then a 7 3/4 inch pipe here to connect to here, and we will have it. Jerry has some 3-inch pipe that he's gonna cut and put some lips on, and I had to order another 90-degree boot from Amazon. You know, I just, as I go along, I figure it out, so I didn't have enough. Nobody in town sells those boots. O'Reilly and AutoZone want $139 for a 90-degree intercooler boot with 2 clamps. Where are they getting that price from? I ordered a 90-degree boot with 2 clamps on Amazon for 25 bucks, 20 or $28, I can't remember. I have no idea where they're getting that price at. I mean, it can't be 8 times as better. It doesn't make any sense. I met up with Jerry last night, and he made me these pipes, and he put ribs in them. I ordered my other 90 and with some clamps, and it should be coming in the mail, so we'll be able to finish that up. And I actually had this on another truck, and so this is our air cleaner setup. And yeah, that'll work good. I'm happy with the air cleaner. Now we can stop putting tape over the end of that. I ordered what they call an HX40 downpipe for this. You can't just do it like a regular exhaust because the end of the pipe has to have a certain flange on it, and it's clamped with a V-band clamp. So it's not like bolted on or whatever like a regular gas car. It butts up against it, has a shoulder on it, and it clamps to it. And that pipe should go down there, and then we'll have to make another 4-inch pipe to go to the back where the stack is going to be. So boom, put that there, have our down pipe, have to figure out the length here, but it's coming along. And right now we're trying to work on the brakes, and I'll show you what's going on with that. Jerry did us another solid. So since all this is second gen Cummins stuff, this originally had ABS and all this other junk. It was all up right here that I took off. So there's 3 lines. There's this one and these 2 brake lines. This goes to the rear. There's 1 line that goes to the rear, and these 2 lines go to each of the front calipers. I already was able to fish this one up and cut it and flare it and put it in this side of the proportioning valve, but we only have 1 more outlet right here. So we have to take these 2 lines, tee them into 1, and then have 1 coming out going to the other side of that valve. And for that, Jerry provided us with this bad boy right here. So we'll be able to take 2 lines, put them in here, have 1 coming out, and that'll go into the other side of that valve. And then, so we have 1, 2, 3 fittings that will fit here. So what we have to do is, let's see, we have to cut this line, get the fittings off, cut these lines, tee them together, and you know what I'm saying. So we're going to use this scrap piece of brake line to go from the proportioning valve up on the master down to the T on the frame. So we're going to start out with this. I won't show you every single double flare because it's kind of boring, but I'll show you one. And we got to get this flared up so that we can actually screw it in and form a seal. We'll put it through the 3/16 on the flare tool. That looks about right. Got to get the ears on these really tight, because if you don't, when you're tightening up the tool we're about to put on it, you can actually push the line back through the tool and then you won't get your flare. Get your big clamp. So then you clamp it down pretty much as hard as you possibly can till you can't go no mo. Once you do that, you take the bit off and we have our first part of the flare. See how it's pretty smashed against the tool? Then you take the bit off and put the cone on, and this is what makes it a double flare. Again, you tighten it down as hard as you possibly can. And now you have your double flare. There it is. That's your double flare. So now it's all hooked up. I used the T that Jerry got me, and I double flared the ends, put them on, turned the 2 into 1, have this line running up here, and it's hooked into the proportioning valve, and we got this line going to the back. So everything is as it should be. The only thing I don't have hooked up is the rear brakes themselves, because the junction block that goes here is missing and I need a hose to go from there to right here. But since I still think I may be shortening this frame, I'm not going to hook that up right now because I may be changing the length of the brake hoses and whatnot. I'm happy with what we got done on the Rio this week. A lot of things that I've been putting off, and got a lot of things figured out. Got both of the front seats in and bolted down, got both of the 5-point harnesses in and bolted down, got the intercooler in and piped up, 99% there. I'm just waiting on a 90-degree boot and we'll have the intercooler cranking. And the coolest thing of all, we got that B&M shifter in there. And thank you to Jerry's help for making that happen. I also thank Jerry for that stack. We're gonna have to mount that stack somehow. I've ordered some more parts to keep working on this truck. We still have to get an exhaust system finished up. We still have to get the cooling system going. We have to get a bed. We still have to do some wiring with headlights and taillights, but we're coming along. It's September 12th right now. October 17th and 18th is the duct tape drag, so I have just a little over a month to get this done. I think in 4 or 5 weeks I can knock it out if I keep hitting it. So I'm probably gonna be working on this next week also. Basically, being a one-man band without a shop full of guys, it just takes time and there's no way around it. This is why I don't customize stuff a lot. I'm not crying about doing this. I've wanted to do a Cummins build since I was in high school. 10 years ago, I've wanted to do something like this. I don't customize things and fabricate and do custom builds and all that. One, because it costs a lot of money, and two, when you change one thing in a system, you end up having to change everything that comes right behind it. I mean, it's truly a DIY project. I mean, that's what it is. But like always, I very much appreciate you all watching. I appreciate you guys watching all the way through. Your likes, your support, your comments, your subscriptions. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe already. And if you want to support the channel in a more direct way, you can pick yourself up one of 3 different really cool shirts off of my website, Theetravisb.com. The large in the Cummins Dependable Diesel and the large in the Theetravisb 46 International sold out. Some other sizes are getting low, so if you've been on the fence about getting a shirt, pick one up now. Those t-shirt sales help with these videos, and I thank you to everybody who's ordered a shirt already. And if you're going to order a shirt, I appreciate your support of the channel. Thank you guys again, and we will see you very shortly in the next one.